How goes it, man?
Being a Lions fan has got to be the toughest thing in the world to be, bro.
You know, it's more so now that it came out after about that what you
That
call it, right? Delay game.
delay game.
Yeah.
Like, bro, and then it wasn't even the fact that like he kicked the 66 yards, but it's the fact that like it hit the crossbar and then goes in. Like that rarely ever happens, bro. Like
Never.
for it to hit the crossbar, normally it bounces forward, not that it bounces back. It brought what type of luck or curse do the Lions have to where somebody breaks a fucking NFL record on you on a fucking kick that 9 times out of 10 that shit is not good. It doesn't happen, bro.
Oh no, it really doesn't. And it's one of those things that's crazy too, because you look back to that final drive and it was like they were down at the 5 and it was like 4th and 19 or whatever.
Yes.
Like, come on,
and
bro.
Lamar, I'm like, you got to give the guy prop. Like that pass was because it barely got over
Homeboy's hands,
just barely over his hands, but he just put the right amount of touch. Like you don't, and like the coach said, you don't expect Lamar to make a pass like that.
No.
Right? Like the statistics show that you make him throw the ball in those situations, and he just threw a perfect fucking pass.
He really did. That's a good point, like the touch, because Lamar doesn't have he's got a good arm, but we're used to just seeing him rocket that ball in there. Like to see him, just drop that bitch right in there. That was impressive. Sad for Lions fans. I thought it was funny, but I mean, what can you do?
Because I had a homeboy that was at the game. He's sitting around some Ravens fans on Instagram talking shit like how that feel right now. I know he had to be pissed when that field goal.
I'm sure he did, bro.
Motherfucker, dog.
You can't talk as a Lions fan until that final.
You have got, bro. You gotta wait till that clock hits zeros.
Mm-hmm. Man. So what are they? 0-3?
0-3. And breaking news.
Okay.
The Kansas City Chiefs have the worst record in the division, bro.
What? That's another one. Like
what?
That has to be their first back-to-back losses since Mahomes has been there, right? There's no way that they've lost 2 in a row. That's crazy. Absolutely crazy.
It is. Well, and you don't expect him to make that type of like error in the near the end of the game, right? Where he threw that interception. You don't expect him to do that.
No, not at all.
It's the defense.
Yeah, it really is, man. That's the thing you got to keep going back to. The D is just not. I don't know. They just don't seem like they can stop anyone, bro. It's that simple. So they're going to be playing. They're going to be in a firefight in every single game that they play.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's just wild, man. I would not have expected 1 and 2. Granted, it's only 3 games in, but that just sounds so crazy to even say. Does.
But you also look at like who they played so far, right? And it's not out of the realm of possibility. I just think that it's just. I think the surprise would have been that them losing to the Chargers. I think would have been the surprise. If anyone was to pick like out of those first 3 games that they had with the Browns, the Ravens, and the Chargers, I don't know if anyone would have said, okay, it would be the Chargers that they lose to.
No, I agree with you. I'm going to look who they're playing next because you got to think they'd have to start getting it together. But
yeah,
we also wouldn't have thought they'd be 1 and 2. So
no one would have thought they got the Eagles next.
That should be a stomping. That's funny because me and my friend were doing like a big parlay we were talking about last night, and that's not even on there. Like you can't even bet on that game. And I was like, Vegas is so fucking smart, bro. Like of course they do that because they're 1 and 2, so they know like technically the odds shouldn't be as big as usually they would be. So they're like, fuck it, we're not even gonna put a line on this game. Like there's no way.
Doesn't make no sense. Yeah. But even after that, you look at it like they have. After that, they have a game against Buffalo. Like, that's going to be a tough-ass game, man.
Definitely. Yep. Buffalo scared me there when they played Pittsburgh the first game, and then they looked good the next 2 games. So, yeah. I would like to think I'm not really worried about them. You know, like I don't think like I feel like they'll get it together. But it's just that defense. It worries me not so much the regular season, but in the playoffs. Like how like when you need your team to D up. You know, like what's gonna happen?
Right. So do we want to start at looking at just like that top 10 power rankings?
Yeah, bro. Here I got that right here. Let's see.
And I feel like it's a unanimous thing right now.
All right.
As far as like who's number one, unless you feel otherwise.
Bro, I'm going the Rams right now, man.
Man. Like, dog, it just even makes it worse as a fucking Lions fan, bro. Stafford is fucking balling, bro.
He is, man. He really is.
Like, he right now, I know it's only, 3 games in? But 3 games in, would you say he's leading, like, MVP?
I'd say him or Kyler Murray. You know, like one of those two. And Kyler, they're 3-0 too, which is crazy, you know. So it's, you know, I was shocked, honestly. Like I thought, you know, like I said before the season, I thought Rams were like a top 5 team, definitely an NFC Championship like caliber team, and that Stafford would probably have his best season. But for some reason, through 3 games, I'm still kind of like shocked. Like this is like crazy to me to see. Maybe because it was just the Bucs and how they handled them. Like it wasn't a blowout, but they were comfortably beating them the entire game. You know what I mean? Like, yeah.
And he, like, that, it didn't look like Tampa Bay had any answers, especially defensively. Like, they didn't, like, that connection that him and Deshaun Jackson have, Stafford and Deshaun, like, bro, like, literally just busting open that defense, bro.
For sure. And, like, to see, and again, it kind of goes back to what everyone talked about last year. Like, it's so interesting because the first 2 games, Brady had it, you know, pretty easy. As soon as like you can get pressure on him like that, that's when like you really see Brady, like especially at his age where he can't move around as well anymore. Like that's what you need to do, man. That's the only recipe to stop that offense is to like get after him. And they got after that boy, man. Like
it's just man, Aaron Donald is a fucking monster, dog. Like he is that guy, dude. Like
never gets tiring to watch, man. Like he's just you know.
So this puts me into this debate question for you. Like, is Patrick Mahomes really the best player, or is it Aaron Donald is the best player in the NFL?
That's a good point because I mean, Patrick's only been on the scene the last couple of years, but if you go back and look at like the, you know how the players do the rankings every year, like Donald's usually number 1. They put him number 1 probably 3 out of the last 5 years. You know, like it's hard because if you're looking at just position to position. A better argument question is almost like, is he the greatest defensive lineman of all time, bro? Like I know there's like Lawrence Taylor and some really nightmare, you know, Joe Green, all those guys, but holy shit, man. And it's hard being a tackle, you know, a nose tackle to get, you know, sacks and, you know, really build your stats up like that. But just watching him play, you're like, this dude is just a force of nature, man.
And getting double teamed is still having the production, right? Yep. And having that impact on the game. And you're getting double teamed every single play.
Yep. Exactly.
It's insane. It's insane.
So do you think, I mean, like, you look at it, it's only 3 games in, but, like, was it just Stafford being a product of where he is? Granted, now he's on he went from a horrible team to, like, an amazing team. It wasn't, like, a slight transition. It's, like, night and day. His different circumstances.
Well, it just, you look at the talent that he has offensively around him suits his capabilities as a quarterback, right? Mm-hmm. Like you have Deshaun Jackson that can just break open a secondary, right? Just like he did. But then you have these really good route runners with Kupp and with
Robert
Woods that are just so good at running routes and getting open in these seam routes and in these just in between routes that they're so good at it, right? And then you have a defense that just complements that offense. It's just, and they're well coached.
No, for sure. I really like Sean McVay, and he's a defensive-minded coach as it is. Like, so that kind of just makes them fire on all cylinders like that. Good offensive line. Stafford just must be in heaven, bro. And I used to criticize him a lot. I was like tired of it. I was like, I'm just like the Stafford era needs to be over. But like, I'm happy for him, man. I really am. Like, it's cool to see him get that.
He's in fucking LA in that dope ass fucking stadium.
Yeah, he's like living his best life right now.
Out
Bro.
here living, bro. To be best Stafford right now is just life right now.
Oh man, if he thought his life was good a couple years ago, he's probably looking back now like, wow, man, I didn't even know.
Why didn't I do this sooner?
Right? Yeah. He's like, I didn't even know this was possible, man. It's crazy. So being that it's 3 games in, what do you think? Is it just like lightning in a bottle? Do you think they're going to slow down a little bit, or do you think like they have a potential to like win? I mean, probably not all, but most of their games. Like, are they a team that's just going to absolutely dominate this season?
I don't see why they wouldn't. Like, it just they look nice, man.
They do.
And I just don't see. I mean, now granted, they haven't gotten into any of their divisional games, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like they played the Bears, which we figured that the Bears were going to lose that game. They played the Colts, which was a little bit of a tough game because the Colts has a solid defense. It's just, what's going on with the quarterback situation. And then the Bucs was kind of like one of their first true tests. Now they have the Cardinals and the Seahawks next, right?
Yeah.
So I think that's going to really kind of give us a little bit more insight on what this, what this team could look like. So,
okay, if they go on and win the next 2 games, I'm going to be like, holy shit, bro.
I'm going to be like, bruh,
like,
I may have to make some changes in my Super Bowl picks.
Right. Like, because that's the thing, you can't really harp on them ever for, lack of competition. They play in easily the hardest division in football, so it's, they definitely got competition. And, the Bucs are, if considered Super Bowl favorites, if not just to make it to the Super Bowl. So them winning that game was just crazy, as handily as they did too. I was like,
yeah,
wow, man, wasn't expecting it. I mean, I was expecting it to be close, I should say.
Yeah, yeah. So you good with the Bucs being that too?
Yeah, I mean, before that loss, I had them number 1. I thought, it's same team as last year, man. They're a good fucking team. It's just, I think the Rams outplayed them. But we got to look back at last season when like the Saints beat them handily both times they played them, and then ended up losing in the postseason. So we don't know what's going to happen. You know what Brady does.
I think that's a different thing though, because that team was just coming together, right?
Mm-hmm.
Brady was still trying to figure out like how that offense was going to run. Because I think if I'm not mistaken, Brady was really looking very Jameis like, right? Where he had a lot of turnovers those first couple of games.
Yeah.
So I think once they started to figure out like how this offense was going to look, and even defensively, because Todd Bowles, he likes to bring pressure and bring blitzes. I think they started to adjust those things. So I don't know if I can say the same thing in this instance, because this team is already put together and they kind of know who they are.
Yeah, that is a good point. I didn't even notice. You see here, they got the quarterback rankings. Do you think Tom's the 7th best quarterback in the league?
Well, I think they're going based off of like what the first 3 games, right?
Okay. What do they have Stafford at here? 1. They have Stafford at number 1.
How can you not, man? How can you? The dude is fucking balling, bro. He has to be leading it. I would, like you said, if I'm putting my 3 MVPs up there, as far as it would have to be him, probably Donald, and then Kyler Murray, and we have to kind of put a plug in there for Myles Garrett, because
he went nuts, bro. Yeah, we're talking about Donald. That dude was like
what was it, 5?
Yeah, something nuts, bro.
Was it 5? Like, bro, why are you going ham like this? Like,
holy shit, dude.
Like, and that, talk about a freak. That's a freakish athlete, man.
Yep. It's almost just scary. I would be afraid to line up against that dude.
Dog.
Holy shit. Yeah, but I'm okay with Tampa too. What about you?
Yeah, same. I'm good with them at 2. I think you could make an argument for like I would say for the next team being the Bills, and then I think the other team maybe being maybe Cleveland.
I don't get how the Cardinals aren't up here in Green Bay, and Buffalo is. Now that I'm thinking, I don't know if like the Cardinals, maybe they're just because difficulty of schedule, but I don't know.
That's what I'm thinking. They haven't. I mean, they played the Jags, the Vikings, and the Titans, right? Like out of those teams, it's probably the Titans, and they popped the Titans.
Mm-hmm.
And it was at home. So I think it's just really like who they've played. They played the Vikings, which was only a 1-point game, and they were up big on that, and the Vikings came back, and then they played the Jags. So I think it's just really like
right. Yeah, and the Jags actually played them closer than probably people would have thought that they would have.
Yeah, they only won by 12.
Yeah.
But these again, they next 2 games, they got the Cardinals. Actually, they next 3 games, they got the Cardinals. Well, they got the Rams, then the Niners, and then the Browns.
I'm going to the Niners game, so that'll be an interesting one.
Okay.
I'm excited, bro. It'll be
you definitely gonna have to give us the play-by-play.
Yeah, man. It's gonna be cool to watch Kyler live, man. The dude's electric, man. I'm really, and the stadium's pretty cool, so I'm excited to get out there and start living my best life here in the Phoenix area, right?
In the AZ.
I don't know about the Bills though, bro, because again, like I was really high on them going into the season. I think Josh Allen's a top 5 quarterback. It was week 1, but that shook me that they lost to the Steelers like that. I was like, whoa, like just was not expecting it.
The Steelers are 1-2 right now.
Yeah, I was not expecting that, bro. So, but Buffalo's look good the 2 games since. So
exactly, I think it's just they made the adjustments. I think since that game.
Yeah,
I mean that game was pretty. I mean they only won by a touchdown, right?
Yeah,
and they popped Miami. What was it? 35-0 or something like that. Like they
did.
And I think people are kind of just estimating that Miami is going to be a playoff team this year. And for them to embarrass them like that, they beat Washington by 20 points. Like,
yeah. And then Green Bay, same thing. They lost horrible week 1, but they've looked pretty good the 2 games since.
But do you put Green Bay in the top 5? Because I don't know if
I don't feel like that. That's the thing.
Confident right now to put them in. I can easily put them in top 10, but I would prefer like it being like Cleveland, or the Cardinals putting them there rather than because Green Bay got embarrassed that first game against the Saints. Like, and I know since then, Rodgers has looked a lot better, but still, like they got embarrassed that first game, and I think that has to say something. Rep it up.
You already know. Raiders are interesting because they're one of those 3-0 teams, but it's like and some of them were impressive wins though, bro. Like the Ravens, that was a crazy ass game. I know we talked about that last week. And they just beat Miami, who, like we just said, is considered, everyone considers them a top defensive team and a potential playoff contender. So that's a high. That's really high, though. I don't like. I don't know.
Again, I think they could be in the top 10. I think again one of those places where it's like, where's Cleveland?
Well, hold on.
Where's the Cardinals?
Look at these QB rankings. They got Rodgers at 11th, and they got Derek Carr at 8th.
But it's based off of this, like how Rodgers looked trash in that first game.
He did.
That was his lowest. Was he even in double digits in his QBR?
Yeah, that had to be his worst game of his career. Seriously, it had to.
Yeah, so it's like I think that's what affected it. I mean, because you even look at where Cleveland is with Baker Mayfield, they got him at 22nd.
Yeah, that's crazy too. That's a good point. And then, but then you look at Rodgers these last 2 weeks, and like that last game-winning drive was pretty crazy against the Niners, bro.
It was.
That game was just crazy, honestly.
It was a dog-ass game.
Yeah. It was. It was a good game. I love that when you can do just enough. What did they have? 37 seconds to get your boy in field goal range and get that kickoff. Man, that was impressive. So
it was. It was some classic.
So do you think NFC North, does that put Green Bay back on top? Like it's solidified that they're kind of the front runners again to win?
I mean, is there any other competition outside of that?
No, I don't think so.
So go back to being a fucking Lions fan again. Right? You're competitive that first half, right? Like if I'm not mistaken, they were up.
And they've been competitive in all the games they played, honestly. Like, that's the thing. Like, people have been saying that the Lions, they're 0-3, but, they're playing tough games.
But, it just blows you, okay, you're up 17-14, and you don't score a fucking point in the second half.
No. I mean, that's just a Lions. That's like a textbook Lions game right there, just not a well-rounded enough team to know, like, to like reach within themselves for that second half and like pull that out. You know what I mean? Just like have no idea what they're really doing. You know, I know there's new coaching, which there is every year, but it's like at some point, man, they got to just find an identity and really dig down. Because like you almost knew that was going to happen, did you not? Like, you know, it looked good on paper, but like just from being a history of, you know, living in Detroit, where you really at halftime thinking like, I'm really confident they're going to fucking pull this out. Like, no, that's just not what the Lions do.
But just to throw up a fucking goose egg in the second half,
no,
like you
yeah, I
couldn't
didn't
muster
expect
up
that.
something, my man.
I agree, bro.
Like at least get a field goal or two.
Yeah, man. Two
Dog.
disappointing weeks, man.
Jesus.
For sure.
It is. I'm just hoping it don't start to look very 0-16 or 0-17ish.
Yeah, I don't think so. I think they'll win at least 5, bro. They're playing tough games. It's just, you know, they're not putting it all together. I think they'll win a couple. I don't think they're like I think you look at them, they're clearly better than like Jacksonville or the Jets or the Giants.
True,
I would say.
True.
You know?
True.
We'll see. This is weird right here. What's on the screen? Like you said, I'd probably have Cleveland above the Raiders, almost above the Packers. You know, so like
because I think you just got to understand what that defense is, right? At this, we'd probably say right now Rams has the number 1 defense. You're probably putting Cleveland either 2 or 3, right in that ranking, maybe outside of like Tampa. So I think that's what's really carrying this. And now Odell is back.
Yep.
And he looked, he looked pretty solid.
He did, man. He had a couple nice catches. And you got to think too, they'd be 3 and like they were really close to beating the Chiefs, you know, the first week.
Yeah.
Which is crazy too. That means the Chiefs are almost 0-3. They almost lost all their games so far. Like that, you know what I mean? That's nuts, man. Like, I don't know. That is kind of worrisome now that I think about it. I said I wasn't worried, but they've
had to come. Game. I mean, you got to think the Chargers were up on them, and they had to come back against the Chargers.
Yeah. Yep. Exactly. It's very interesting. But I would still, with that said, I would have the Browns over the Raiders. I just feel like they're a better, well-rounded team.
I don't disagree.
You know, the Raiders have played good, but they've also been sketchy. Like obviously against the Ravens, they had the whole first half. They did not look good, and then they turned it on. And then who did they just play? They just beat the Dolphins, in overtime. They looked horrible in the first quarter, and then they kind of started turning it on. So they're kind of all over the place. They got to put together a full game.
And it's like, well, what's scary about that is like they played against in Jacoby Brissett. Not to say that Jacoby Brissett isn't a decent quarterback, but like there's just levels to this, right? And I mean, you're relying on Jacoby Brissett. He threw 49 times.
Yeah. Exactly. Wait, for the Dolphins?
Yes.
Tua's hurt, or is he just benched?
Yeah, no. Remember, he injured his ribs when they played against was it Cleveland? Am I wrong? I feel like I'm wrong.
Yeah, I know he got hurt, but I don't know who they were playing. That's very
Bills. It was the Bills. That's where he got that. He injured his ribs.
Gotcha.
He's gonna be out for a bit.
Do you think Cleveland? I see Ravens have won 2 good games now. I mean, that's kind of, you know, the Lions is a sketchy win, but they beat the Chiefs. They won their last game against the Lions. What do you think as far as the AFC North? Is that what that division is?
Yeah. Well, the Bengals are 2-1, bro. What is going like? There is some peculiar things that are happening.
Yeah, it's a weird season so far, bro. Like it really is. It really is. Look at these rookies too, man. Like I wanted to bring that up to you, bro. Like Trevor Lawrence is playing like dog shit. Granted, the team is not that good, but him, Justin Fields, Zach Wilson, again, all the teams are not that good, but they're just not playing good. Like they don't look good.
Fields looks trash.
We have 68 yards. Like that's crazy, man. He went like 8 for 20 with 60.
But then it's also like that old line is very porous.
Exactly. That's kind of like the disclaimer. Same with the Jags. I get it with Trevor and Zach Wilson. You got to say your boy Mac Jones is looking the best out of all the rookies so far.
He has, and the thing is that he still doesn't look all that great.
No, nothing crazy. What did you think of that game? Was it like surprising that the Saints beat them that easily?
No, it wasn't surprising.
No. So you think like, are you just out on the Patriots? You think they're just not going to have a good year?
I just don't. I don't. Well, we have to remember that the Saints defense is pretty solid, right?
Yeah.
Like that's not a.
I'll say,
and I think they just threw him some things that like Mac just was like, oh, like I don't know what to do with this, bro.
Yeah. That's a good point. It's so weird. All of the games so far, but specifically their 2 wins have been so weird because Jameis has thrown for like 150 yards in both of their wins. So it's like, what the fuck? Like, are they just planning on relying heavily on like their field position from the defense and just running the ball? Like, it's just like they're not even giving them the opportunity to really, get a lot of volume.
A game where they opened it up, he threw for what? He threw what, 3 interceptions or 2 interceptions
against
last
the Panthers?
Game? Yeah. So, and I think when the Saints D, what they're deciding is like, look, we know that they're not going to beat us running the ball.
No.
Right? So we don't have a need to load the box. They leading rusher that game was Mac Jones. What did he have? Like 28 yards? First of all, why is Mac Jones your leading rusher?
Yeah, that's like crazy too.
That's how you know you're going to lose that game if that's your leading rusher.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, just imagine Tom Brady being a leading rusher for like a Patriot. You'd be like, bro, what the fuck is going on here?
Exactly, bro. But you have a good point. Like the Saints' run D is very good. Probably, honestly, top 5, if not top 10.
And it's like, so they don't have no reason to like add more into the box. They don't need to. They understand that like the only way that especially the Patriots is going to beat us is that they throw the ball.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? Because they don't. Who's the Patriots have that makes you feel like, bro, we got to respect their running game?
No, they still got James White, and who's that new younger running back that they have? I don't remember his name. But he's the same type of running back. He's like a receiver, a little scat bag type of player. But you're totally right. I don't. There's no part of them. Granted, they have a decent offensive line, but they just don't really have. They don't really scare you like that, man. I don't know
at all.
It's a weird year. It's only 3 games in. Just thinking of like me being a Saints fan, bro. Like I've been so used to now. It's almost like just hopelessness rooting for them. Like please, like win. Like yes, but like before, it was like we were expected to win. Like the Saints were always like a top 5 or 6 team for like the last decade, and I was like I was confident going in every week. And now it's like, holy shit, bro. I don't know what's about to happen. They blew out the Packers, then got blown out by the Panthers, and then beat I don't know what's happening, bro.
So that's the thing. It's like I think the 2 games where you felt like, okay, out of these first 3 games, the thought process would have been like, okay, the easy win is going to be against the Panthers.
Yep. Yeah.
But it completely flipped, right? Where the
Panthers are leading the NFC South. Did any of us think through 3 games?
Nobody thought that, bro. Like Sam Darnold.
So are they for real? Like I got to ask you because like I look at them and like they beat the Saints, who are like probably a middle of the pack team right now. But the other 2 wins weren't really anything. It was like the Texans and was it the Jets? I forget who the other team. I don't see them really. I think this is them kind of just taking advantage of the first 3 games. I don't think it's going to continue, but
I don't know because, okay, so they got the Cowboys, right? Well, I think that game can be good. We can really get a better measuring stick on what that defense is because I think people are really surprised by that defense. Yeah. I don't know if there's any surprises with the offense because I think Sam Darnold is actually a pretty decent quarterback, right?
He's playing good this year.
Yeah, and then you add in the fact that you got MCM, he's doing his thing. You got DJ Moore, you got Robbie Anderson. Like there's some they got like pretty decent receivers.
Yeah.
So, and he didn't have that when he was in New York.
No.
The Jets were just trash. And I think now that he's have weapons, you're starting to see his capabilities.
Yeah. No, I totally agree. Dude, how's their, I don't really know much about their defensive personnel. Do they, I don't know how they look on that side of the ball, but I agree with you offensively.
They got Shaq Thompson. Who else do they got on defense?
I wonder if they got to be in this top 10. Let's see here.
I would assume
they're not.
So.
They're not. They're 12. That's wild.
See, that's the thing. I have a problem then. Yeah. Why is a team that's 3-0 ranked lower than a team that's 1 and 2? Like that just doesn't make sense, bro.
It is weird.
I get it that we have this,
like predetermined opinion.
Man, like we're just enamored with Patrick Mahomes and with the Kansas City, but they lost 2 games. And all their games have been close.
Yep.
Like we have to respect the fact that and again, like these teams that they're playing are top 10 teams, right? These other 2 teams that they've all 3 teams that they lost to are ranked in the top 10 in these rankings, or these power rankings, if I'm not mistaken, right? Like, are the Cardinals on here too?
Yep, they're 8.
So they're 9, or not the Cardinals, but the Chargers. They're 9th, right? So all 3 of those teams, the Browns, the Ravens, and the Chargers, are ranked in here. But like, we have to give some respect to the Panthers and the fact that they haven't lost right now. Now, granted, they haven't really played much of anyone probably outside of the Saints, but give them some respect in the fact that they 3-0 and the Chiefs are 1-2 right now.
Right. And you said Carolina plays Dallas this week?
Yeah, they play Dallas.
So that'll be an interesting game because I think Dallas is legit this year. I'm going to be honest with you. So, like, if Carolina beats Dallas, I'll be like, okay, that's very interesting. That'll be the toughest test yet. So, you know.
Yeah, because, I mean, after that, they got the Vikings and the Giants and the Falcons. Like,
I'm surprised the Cowboys aren't here. Aren't they 2-1?
Yeah, they are 2-1.
Where are they? Man, they got them back. That's crazy. Denver's 3-0. That is so
like
nuts,
I told, it's so random, dog. This is so
QB
random,
rank,
bro.
QB rank 3rd.
But the thing about Teddy Bridgewater is that he is uber efficient, bro.
He is pretty efficient. He's pretty smart.
He's super smart. He makes smart passes. They're just like those very Drew Brees, like these last couple of years where they're not long balls, right? Correct. It's all short stuff, but it's short stuff where these guys can get that extra yak, right? Like they're just picking up those yards after the catch, but he plays super efficient, and his passer, like his percentages on his throws he's easily like high 70s as far as his.
You're right, bro. Well, look at this first sentence. I like what this says. Teddy's been what the team with this potentially elite defense is needed, prepared, opportunistic passer who closes out drives and avoid turnovers. That's like spot on, bro. Like he's just, he's the game manager to this amazing elite Denver defense. So
I mean, his completion percentage is 76%.
Yeah,
70. We can rank it up to 77, 76.8. So he's 77%.
Right. Their offense is so sketchy, though, man. I mean, Jerry Jeudy's out right now, but it's like I look at the rest of them, and it's like their D has got to be just the catalyst of why they're winning right now. Because like I don't look at any of their offensive players and say like they're a game changer.
I mean, Melvin Gordon is nice.
He's been playing good. Yep.
And Melvin Gordon's nice, and I mean they got Cortland Sutton, they got Noah Fant, and KJ Hamler can be he's someone that I feel like has that Tyreek Hill-esque type of he has the abilities. I just don't know if he has that same type of bravado that Tyreek has. Like, cause he's super fast, he's small, he's quick, but I just don't know if he like Tyreek almost like demands it, right? Where like you gotta respect him. I don't know if KJ Hamler does.
Yeah, he's younger though, isn't he?
He is. I think this is his second year.
Okay, so yeah, I mean he's got time, but he's a speedster, man.
He
on the outsides,
fast.
Gotta
and
watch
from Michigan.
Him. Those are like the best players to have, man, because like even if they're not making a huge impact statistically, like it's just someone the D has to scheme for when you're that fast, because it's like they know if you just are lazy on one play, like that's an 80-yard burn, So yeah. Grant, I don't know if Teddy can throw the ball 60+ yards, but
no, I mean his average yards on his passes is 9 yards.
Yeah, that's crazy, man. You're right. He was sitting behind Drew too long. He's like, all right, this is how we do it, man.
Bet we can get it done this way.
Yeah.
But shout out to the coaches for understanding, like that's what it is too.
Yeah, exactly. You got to work with what you got, my man.
Yeah.
And Dallas and New Orleans here at 15. I don't know. Again, the Saints are just, I don't even know what to think of them right now. But I am really like, Dallas looks good, man. Like the personnel every year is amazing, and then they end up flopping. But this year they look pretty good so far.
Yeah. And the Seahawks are 1-2.
Yeah, that's an interesting one too. I don't know if they've played any divisional games yet, but the Seahawks always tend to have a tough schedule, So I don't know, man.
But they lost to the Vikings.
Yeah.
They lost to the Titans in overtime, but
It's like since the early 2010s when like they were elite, I've slowly every year kind of like lost a little more faith in the Seattle Seahawks, bro. I've just like kind of like, I don't know, like they went from like such an elite team that was going to be potentially a dynasty to like perennial playoff team to, you know, last year a wild card playoff team, and now I'm like, bro, I don't know what the fuck's going to happen with them this season. I think
it's literally just the defense, bro.
It's
like ever since that Legion of Boom kind of like just mantled that team, that defense has gotten worse.
It's really gotta be. I totally agree with you. And like Bobby Wagner's like the only one that's remaining out of that elite squad, man. You know?
Yeah.
It's just crazy. Let me get my light on real quick.
It's sad to see.
There we go. Yeah. I don't know. That whole division's tough though, you know, and I think the Rams are just gonna clearly be the front runners in there. But Arizona looks good too, man. That's gonna be a good game. That's gonna be a really dog-ass game. That's what I'm probably the most excited for coming up.
It is. I'm excited for it as well. So, NBA season.
I just looked at my phone, bro.
Is it a couple of weeks away?
Yeah, October 3rd. Is that when it starts?
I think preseason. Okay. Preseason.
I was looking at it and I was like, "What the fuck?"
Yeah,
way quicker than I thought.
Preseason. So, should we put it in now? As far as like what we're thinking.
Yeah, let's do it.
You want to put this in now? It's like who we think gonna make it to the playoffs. Get like our MVP votes and all that.
Get that? That's a good idea.
You want to get that out the way?
MVP is tough, man. Just thinking about I'm like, there's so many possibilities. I don't think it'll be Jokic again. I wouldn't be surprised if that's his only one that he wins, at least for a while. It's just hard as a center in today's league to keep doing that, but we'll see. I think I don't know. Do you have an MVP pick right off the bat? That's gonna take me a minute to think about. All right, let's hear it.
I'm gonna go with Joel.
Okay, I like that pick.
And the reason why I say it is more than likely Ben's gone.
He is gone. I think so. Yeah.
Right. He's gone. He's not coming back. Well, that only really frees up, right? Especially if you bring a true perimeter player. And that makes these teams like really kind of have to respect whoever that perimeter player is, whether that's CJ McCollum, Jaylen Brown, whatever it is. That's just going to open up more space for Joel to do what he does. And he damn near won MVP last year.
That's a good point. Yeah, you're right, because they're going to at least, require an all-star level wing player in return, and it's guaranteed to be a better shooter perimeter threat than what Ben Simmons was, so the floor will be spaced. I don't not like that, man. That's a really good pick. Where do you think Ben's going to go, man? Like, that's still just like, I think about it probably once a day. I'll just sit there and be like, what? Like, I don't know. Because the circumstances are so weird, right? He's got a big contract. He's probably at the lowest he's going to be on the market right now, but the Sixers are still probably going to ask for everything for him. So it's like, I don't even know.
This is the thing. It's like, okay, we're going based off of this playoff performance that he had in like those last couple of games. But can we still respect the fact that like he's still probably a top 20 player in the league?
Yeah, I think he's a top 5 defender all around. He's a great passer. Great finisher.
We can put him. He's probably like top 3 defender in the league, right? But we have to stop disrespecting him to the fact that like his skill set, he's still like a top 20, 25 player in the league, right? So like. He almost kind of, I think they may be asking for a bit more just because of the contract that they gave him, but respect the fact that like they probably want some equal exchange.
Yeah.
It's just difficult to assess his talent and what he does because of the lack of shooting.
So let me ask you that, because like we have that bit from on our Instagram from like when we talked about this way last year when I said like he's a buzz for what his potential was, I guess, or like what people hyped him up to be. And you said in that clip, I don't think he needs to be a shooter. Like, he can just keep doing his thing. Like, do you still think that, or do you think he needs to have some type of resentment, or at least attempt to shoot the ball?
That's the thing, is I don't think he needs to be a shooter. But you also can't be timid in shooting the ball either.
Yeah. Like, it's almost a mindset thing at this point where you look at him like he won't.
Draymond is not a shooter. But Draymond will shoot an open shot.
Mm-hmm. You have to. You can't not be able to shoot an open 3-pointer or a jump shot. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
but you have to make them respect the fact that you're out there.
Yeah.
Teams understand that Draymond's probably shooting in like the 20s as far as his 3-point percentage, especially last year or the year before that.
Mhm.
But it's still a thing where like you kind of run that risk because like Draymond can also kind of get a little hot and start hitting these jumpers, but he makes you respect the fact that like if you leave me open, I'm gonna shoot this, and if it goes in, that was your fault.
Yeah, no, you're definitely right.
Like he does he does not make you do that.
No, he doesn't.
So again, I don't think he doesn't have to become like this knockdown mid-range shooter. He just has to attempt them.
I agree. Just take them when you're open, man. Even if you miss
That's
all of them.
Like, I mean, the fact, and Joel pointed it out, like the fact that you didn't even take that layup, dog.
Yeah.
Like, that's the thing. Like, you can't be that intimidated of going to the free throw line to where you don't even shoot a wide open layup.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. That's a good pick, man. I mean, I don't want to like piggyback off you. I'd say probably definitely up there. I wonder. I don't know, man. I almost want to say KD just to see how hot he played that last series. Like,
and how he looked in the Olympics.
Bro. Oh my God, bro! Like, he was nasty in that last series against the Bucks, man. Like, oh my God! Like, and then Kyrie, is he hurt or he has COVID or something like that? Did you read about that?
I didn't read about that. I didn't know.
Maybe it's not COVID. I don't know. Something was going on with him. I don't know if he's going to start with the season, but James Harden looks good. I was watching videos of him in the gym, practicing some new traveling moves. All good over there in his camp.
Hey, listen. One thing I can appreciate about James is that, like, he works on his game, right? And he looks for ways to figure out, okay, he works on it. He is a master at putting in work on the footwork situation, right?
Yeah.
From just the ball handling and stuff like that. So he works on it. And he pushes the limit as far as like what he can do. So sometimes he may be traveling, but you figure out, okay, well, this is a travel. Well, how can I adjust this to where it's not a travel, still be legal, and make the move look good? And so he does it, but like you almost kind of you have to question, like, well, was it a travel?
Yeah, you're right. It's almost like his optical illusion when he's got the basketball, man. But the one time I've really noticed it is like when he'll get a game winner, or like when the end of at a timeout or something, and they'll show it in replay in slow motion. I'll be like 1, 2, 3. I'll be like, and then I'll be like, you bitch, God, you got him, man. There was one, his last game, or one of the last couple games of the Rockets, when they had that blue like T-shirt jersey, and he hit like a game winner, like in the fourth. It was like a minute left, and he took like 3, and I was like, holy shit, bro! Like, how does he, like, in real time? It just must be so hard for the refs to like realize it. But
he's so smooth with the footwork. But
man.
What about Doncic? You think he could get it?
I mean, the thing was, he was the betting favorite last year. You know what I mean? So it's like, and he started bad and turned it on. I don't know, man. Do you think that has more to do with like the support that he's going to have around him? Because I know you've brought it up a lot. Like, is Porzingis going to ball? Is he going to be what we all thought he was going to be? Is that ship sailed? Like, what's?
I think part of it is just the fact that him and Doncic don't get along.
Yeah.
Like they don't really mesh all that well. But I think last year Doncic, he came in like he looked out of shape, bro.
Yeah.
He's a bigger dude, but he looked out of shape.
Yeah.
He kind of came in looking like James Harden, bro.
He did. He's a kid, man. He's still just, kind of trying to figure it out. They're such an interesting team, man. Like, they're so like last year, wasn't it like they were better on the road than they were at home or something like that? Like it's just, but they're such a good shooting team. Their offensive efficiency is crazy, but then they're going these long stretches where they can't stop anybody. Like, it's just like, I don't know how to assess.
Or even same thing on offense where they just go on these jumps where they can't hit a fucking bucket.
Right. Yeah.
Right. They lack this is where you would want Porzingis to come in, but they lack a reliable secondary option.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Because you don't know if in one night it's going to be Porzingis, it may be Tim Hardaway Jr., it may be Jalen Brunson. Like, you just don't have a consistent secondary option.
For sure. He doesn't. You're right. I don't know. Bro, I almost want to put Donovan Mitchell up there. I don't know why. I've been like watching him again recently.
And you know what? You asked me that question last year, right? you asked me this question about is Donovan Mitchell a superstar, and I said I didn't think he was. This year, I think he'll become that.
Yeah.
Right, because you're really starting to respect, and I think people are putting that on notice from just the playoff. And he was still injured last year, and he was still balling. If he can really if he doesn't get injured, I think he can get. I really do think he can be in that conversation.
Bro, he shoots the ball crazy good, man. I didn't even realize that until the playoffs of last year. I was like, bro, he's just pulling it from like 2 or 3 feet behind the 3-point line, just, and he's so freakishly athletic,
And somebody, I read an article and somebody mentioned this. He came in to the league as a defensive player.
Yeah. Yeah.
No one expected this for him to be like the offensive weapon. He came in as a defensive stopper, bro.
Yeah, he was like the 15th pick, somewhere in the middle of that first round.
Another pick that the fucking Pistons missed out on.
Right. Hey, the Pistons might be good this year, though.
Kennard.
Yeah. Who's balled last year in the playoffs as soon as he left the Pistons? Him and Reggie Jackson.
Don't be lying.
He was making his open threes. Like he made some big shots.
I get you that. Yeah,
But the Pistons, I honestly think they could have it's going to take a while for them to build, but I really like the core. Like they look like,
they're getting there. I don't know if I'm not sold on Killian Hayes, but
okay. I like Garza, man. Everyone was like, he's going to be too slow for the NBA, all this shit. I thought that was a steal for the last pick of like the second round or whatever. Like he
has a Jokic type of game, right? Where he's not a super explosive,
no,
but he just has game. Right, and he's just this big body who can shoot. So I think he can have some production. I don't think he's ever going to become like an all-star or anything like that, but he's just going to be a solid performer.
That's a good point. I was about to say the same thing. I don't think he'll be scoring like 25 like at Iowa, but like the boards will still be there. I could see him at his best still being like a 15 and 10 dude or a 15 and 12 guy. You know what I mean? Like
really. And then spot on.
Yeah.
Spot on.
What do you think of the Lakers, bro? What's gonna like that? I'm definitely the most excited to watch them. This like just so many, like you just think about like Carmelo and Dwight. Like I forget that they're even there because you're so busy thinking about Russ and how he's gonna mess with them. I'm like, bro, this is such an interesting team from top to bottom, and they're so old.
I mean, they're very interesting, and it's because of the fact that they're so. And you just want to know how these pieces are going to work together. But I'm not really that excited to see them. I'm more excited to see the Warriors and Clay coming back.
Yeah, that's
true, that's where my eyes are going to be because if Steph plays the way that he did last year, and Clay gives you that typical Clay production, and you add in Wiggins and they fuck around and get Ben Simmons, Jesus.
Yeah.
Like that team, like I would, if they come back and like playing how we would expect them to play, like they could give the Nets a run for their money. Will they win? Probably not. But like you putting Ben Simmons on KD, like that's like defensively as far as the matchup on Kevin Durant, like that's a pretty good matchup, man.
For sure.
Kyrie and Steph, Clay and James, like.
Yep, I totally agree. Do you think James was just hurt in the playoffs last year, and that's why he looked like a shell of himself?
Oh yeah, you could tell. Like, remember when he stole the ball? He had his fast break and he had to pull up.
Yeah, on the left side of the 3-point line. Yeah, I do remember that. That was weird in that Game 7. Yeah,
James would never do that.
Yeah,
that's a good point. So, and it was crazy because like the last couple games, he still put up like 20.
Yeah,
you're injured and you're putting up 20 points in a playoff game, man. Like he either him or Kyrie don't get injured. That Milwaukee series doesn't go long, bro. It may go 5 at best.
Yeah. But do you think, I don't know what they did in the offseason, but just mindset alone, like can Milwaukee take that step to now be competitive against Brooklyn, or do you think if Brooklyn's healthy, it's just like there's nothing Milwaukee's even going to be able to do with them?
There is nothing Milwaukee can do with that team, bro.
That's a good point because you almost think like, okay, they got Giannis, but it's like KD just negates whatever Giannis does.
Yeah, and then who do you as Milwaukee put on KD now that Tucker is gone?
Yeah, that's a good point. I'm putting Giannis on him. I really am. Every single position. Like that's like.
So who do you put on Blake?
Giannis is going on KD. That's all I'm like. That's got to be.
There's no other answer to it. Huh?
All that matters. Like, yeah, do whatever you want with the defensive scheme, but like Giannis has to. He's the only guy with the length and athleticism to maybe rise up and challenge like whatever KD can, throw up. Like I don't. But I agree with you thinking about it now, especially PJ Tucker's gone. Did he go to the Suns? Where did he go?
No, he went to Miami.
Miami. Yeah. Okay. The Bulls will be interesting too. I don't think they'll be like a serious threat, but like they'll be fun to watch.
I suspect they'll fall anywhere between 5 and 7.
Yeah, that's a good. Yeah, I probably have them right around there too.
So let's talk about that as far as like in the East. Like, who do you think is going to the playoffs?
Shake it up. Yeah, I mean,
so
Milwaukee, the Nets, Sixers, Miami. I'm gonna go. Yeah, Chicago. So that's 5. I almost want to throw the Pistons in at like 8th seed. I don't think they're going to be ready. Yeah, I don't think they'll be ready. The Celtics will be lower than they usually are this year. I'd say they're going to be like 6, 7, 8.
For sure.
That's 6 teams. Who am I forgetting, man?
Indy, Pacers.
Yeah, Indy's so weird how they always end up in there and like they never have like a superstar. You know what I mean?
You think about like Charlotte. You're forgetting Atlanta.
Yeah, I'm gonna probably say Atlanta and Indy will probably round it out. Atlanta I might take a step forward this year, man. All those players were so young, and
injured. Like Bogdanovich was injured last year. They didn't have DeAndre Hunter. Like they're missing some pieces or guys that just wasn't 100%.
Where did Kemba go? Kemba got traded.
Kemba went to New York.
Oh yeah. Oh, the Knicks too. That's interesting. Greenville take a step back.
I don't see how they don't take a step back, bro. They just don't have the talent. Now, the team that I am interested in is Washington.
Okay.
And here's why. You got Dinwiddie and Bradley Beal in the backcourt.
Mm-hmm.
Right? They picked up KCP. They picked up Montrez. They got Kyle Kuzma. Like, they have some talent that I think can work. And you got a game changer, right? Like, you got Bradley Beal.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So it's like you got somebody that can go and get you a bucket. Spencer Dinwiddie is nice. Right. And then you have pieces that you can really play with. Rui Hachimura, I think, is kind of emerging. Like they have some pieces there. They just have to play defense.
Yeah, exactly, man. It's I don't think they have like the star power to go up against like the Giants of the East, but like yeah, they could be like a surprise team. Is actually like maybe make it like to the 6th. I think one of those teams
where it's like between them, the Knicks, the Hornets, and the Pacers are going to be like playing 8th seed range.
Yeah, are they going to keep that play-in tournament? Is that?
I don't know.
I mean, after how it went last year, you'd almost think they'd have to. Those were good
those games were some dog ass games.
I was against it, and I was like, well, okay, that was pretty intense. Like that was.
It was like that like Golden State and Memphis game, like.
Yep.
Some pretty good games. I mean, even you think about the Lakers had a fight to get into the playoffs. So
yep. So what do you think on the West? Like, are the Lakers? Because I think the Clippers aren't gonna. Kawhi is injured for most, if not the whole season, is what they're saying.
Yeah.
So they're out of the picture, if you ask me. I don't know.
Yeah. So I would say I'm thinking Lakers, Denver, Phoenix, Portland, Utah, Golden State, Memphis, and I think so this is the thing, like Dallas,
Phoenix.
I said Phoenix already.
Okay.
Dallas and like the Clippers, I
think the Clippers will still make it. Maybe
they can, at the end you think even with Kawhi out, they made it to the conference finals last year
and played a tight series.
Yeah,
Sorry to like digress, but like you brought them up. What do you think? Because someone said this at work because you brought up Denver, Jamal for Ben Simmons. Have you heard that talk?
I'm not.
That's an interesting trade, bro.
That it.
That's an interesting trade.
I don't know if I like that though.
For who?
For Denver.
Yeah, just because what, they don't have enough shooters around Ben, or
I mean, it could unlock Michael Porter Jr. Right, but who? Ben Simmons is running your point.
Mm-hmm.
Like he's kind of running like that same thing where he's like a point forward. It can unlock Michael Porter, and he would really have to step in. But my question is what does that do to Aaron Gordon?
Yeah, I mean,
they could be
that's a good point, man. Aaron Gordon doesn't shoot really well enough to really. I don't know.
Right. I mean, they'd be
athletic as fuck.
They'd be and man, like Aaron Gordon and Ben Simmons defensively.
Yeah.
And then you add in like they could be nice. I don't know if I like that though.
What about the flip side? That'd be Jamal and Embiid.
I mean, Jamal and the Sixers would just be insane. You match him up with Seth and Tobias Harris.
Yeah, that'd be crazy, man. They'd hit the ground running, bro. Assuming Jamal, plays like a resemblance of what we know he can play, and not turn into this other dude that doesn't do nothing. That was crazy, man. Just seeing,
it was super weird. Yeah, it was super weird last year. I think maybe it's just the turnaround from the bubble to the regular.
I hope so, because I like him a lot, and I was like, what the hell's going on? But I agree with most of the teams you said, and I do think the Clippers probably have a shot to make it, towards the end of the playoffs, 7th, 8th seed. I got to think the Lakers are the favorite, though, and that sounds like a hype train thing, and I know they're old, but, like, I just, like, with their experience and assuming none of them get injured, I don't know. That's my favorite. Probably them or I think Phoenix takes a step back. I think everything kind of aligned for them last year. I don't think they're going to be, like, a perennial, powerhouse there. I'd almost say Utah or Denver is going to take the next step and really challenge them next year. That's probably my prediction.
I mean, we got to also remember, too, like, Utah had the best record in the league last year.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right? And I can only suspect that, like, Dominique's going to get a bit better. Bogdanovich. Like, if anybody challenges them, I think it can be Utah. I'm really... And I heard this from, I don't know if you heard this, maybe been to Sacramento.
Yeah, for De'Aaron Fox.
Yeah.
Or Buddy Hield, they were saying, one of the two.
Yeah, for some of the shooting, yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I think taking Buddy Hield for him would be a problem because I think De'Aaron Fox likes running the offense too, so it would be interesting to see how that would work. But I think him for De'Aaron Fox straight up is a pretty equal trade and would work better for both sides, honestly.
Yeah.
Because who's the Sixers point guard if they trade Ben and they get back Buddy Hield, not De'Aaron Fox? Like who's running point? Not Buddy Hield, not Seth Curry.
No, what was the rookie from last year's name? Was it Maxey?
Yeah, he was pretty good.
Tyrese Maxey.
He's not bad. But I mean, he's not. I mean, maybe he could take a step up. I don't know. I just him off the bench.
I feel like that would be the case. It had to be Maxey, man.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think they have truly another option.
So, do you think it's Lakers Nets is the early prediction? Oh, do we even talk about Golden State? I know you.
Well, we talked about like that. That's who I'm most interested in watching this year. Honestly, is because the way Steph played last year.
Yeah, that was reminiscent of like the 15-16 season, bro.
Right, and it's like if he plays like that and they have the support and they really are able to bring along, what's the young kid's name? Wiseman?
Yeah. I
just don't see how they're going to truly push the Lakers, bro. Because you think of that as a matchup. The Lakers can't match that shooting.
No.
just from Steph and Clay alone. They can't match that shooting.
Mm-mm.
And that's I think, gonna be the biggest difference. Like now the Lakers can really punish them down low.
Yeah, they'd be way more physical. That would be an interesting game. That would be reminiscent of like Warriors Cavs like 2016.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that would be interesting. But I said, you know, when we were on here with T and Ricari, I thought, you know, the Warriors are coming, man. Like as soon as like Clay gets back in there, you know, they've got good draft capital. You know, they're gonna. And Draymond looked pretty good again last year. He had a couple years where he looked like he was kind of slowing down, but like you know, he looked good, at least defensively and as a playmaker. So yeah, I would hope to see them in the Western Conference Finals. That would be awesome. That would be fantastic. You know,
that would. Oh, hold on, real quick. Did you see that interview that David Letterman? Like, no, just a press conference, and David Letterman was asking KD questions.
Yeah, I saw the title of the video, but I didn't watch it. What was he saying?
Bro, he was like, so, KD, why do they call you KD? Like, what the fuck you mean? Why do they call you KD? Like, can I call you KD? Is it like, bro, if you don't, like, and
so
he was
funny.
Like, Kevin, like, what percentage of effort are you going to give this year? It's going to be like 80%, 100%, 110. Like,
was KD like a good sport about it, or was he getting?
Yeah,
pissed?
He was like, well, you know, my first name is Kevin, you know, K, and last name's Durant, D, so KD, and he was, you know, asking about the percentage. He was like, I probably get like 110%. You know, and then at one point he asked him another question. He was like, all right, David, that's enough. Like, cut your mic off. Like,
dude, that's so funny because Norm Macdonald, the comedian from SNL that just died. I don't know if you saw that.
Yeah, yeah.
They showed like how he used to mess with players on media day like that, and it was like the year after Blake's rookie year, and he was like, "Hey Blake, I wanted to get your opinion. Like, I noticed like everyone goes from a drought. They don't seem to win rookie of the year like twice in a row. I just wanted to get your opinion on that. And like why no one seems to like repeat it." Blake was like, "What the fuck, bro? Like, get out of here, Norm." R.I.P. man. That dude has such a stupid sense of humor, but
funny.
Yeah, too man. Funny. I don't know. I think the Lakers, though. I mean, they're my. Got to ask you too. If he stays healthy, LeBron needs to play like 60 games the next 2 seasons and average like a little over 20 to like break Kareem's record. Like he's getting close, man. Like
he can do it.
Yeah,
I think he can do it.
I think if he just stays healthy for like 3 more seasons and even puts up like 15 a game, like and just plays like 70 or like 60 plus, he'll be right there. So
yeah,
he's going into what 19, 18th season? I don't know.
Yeah, especially like since teams are averaging more points per game, right? So it's not it wouldn't be unlike for him to be able to get like 24 a game this year.
Yeah, for sure. How crazy would that be, man? I mean, like
it would. Nuts.
I don't know if that's enough to like swing the needle for people to like I don't, because that probably wouldn't even do it for me. Like as far as like the argument of like greatest of all time, but like what an accomplishment to like be the all-time leading scorer. Like that would be absolutely insane.
I have a question for this is kind of something somebody brought up. And it was around, of course, it was around MJ, but they were talking about it's not disrespectful to say that Kobe had a bigger bag than Jordan as far as like skill set, as far as his game. Like Jordan wasn't hitting turnaround. Jordan wasn't hitting turnaround threes.
Yeah,
regularly in the game. Right.
Definitely.
Jordan wasn't doing like 360 dunks in the game a lot like that. Like Kobe was doing those things. Going behind the back, reverse dunking on Vincent. Like Jordan didn't have that.
No, I totally agree with you. And like that's why I say like it kind of goes back to like, bro, like I will argue with anyone. Kyrie's, if not the most skilled player that's ever lived.
And that was going to be my next point. It's like, and it's like Kyrie has a bigger bag than Kobe.
Yeah, right. It's so like that doesn't equate to necessarily you being the greatest. Go to football. You look at Brady, is he really the most talented, like does the most quarterback you've ever seen? He's clearly the greatest. He's accomplished the most, and he's like the biggest winner, and he can ball. But like same thing.
Aaron Rodgers has a bigger bag than him.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? And Mahomes has a bigger bag than him.
People just get too just defensive and argumentative when it comes to like I think like whoever they saw in their childhood or whoever they deem as like their favorite or the greatest. And like that's the thing. You got to be able to like look at players individually and recognize like what they can do, and it doesn't. You can compliment one without like being like you just said. It's not a disrespect to the other to talk about how great one
Just
is.
games evolve. The game is evolved, right? Like I think to survive in some like these games today, you got to have a bag, bro. Like you got to have something that you can carry with you that like I got this, and Kyrie he just has that bag, bro.
Yeah, man, he is crazy. Like I've never seen. Reminds me just so much of like Allen Iverson, just like a little taller, and he's able to like shoot the ball more efficiently. Like the dude is just absolutely wild. Allen Iverson's another one, bro. I always said like if he was like 6 inches taller, bro, Allen Iverson would be like.
Even Kobe said it,
right?
Kobe said that, bro. Like that, he said that was his toughest matchup. He was like, imagine if he'd have been 6'6", it wouldn't have been fair.
Yeah, the on-ball defense that AI played at that height on people, bro. Like I mean, like. People forget. You usually look at small guys, and you're like Steph. You're like, he's amazing, but he's a liability on defense. AI locked people up, bro. Like
he led the league in steals several times.
Yeah, man. Oh my god. Like I just saw recently he was in an interview where he was talking about when he shook Jordan, and then like saw him years later. Did you see that? And he was like, "I love you, man. Like you're the greatest." And he was like, "Fuck you. You don't love me. Like you wouldn't have shook me like
you would have crossed me like that."
Jordan's so funny, bro. That dude's, I feel like, it's just always like got some kind of edge he's got to get at with people. Like,
he just can't let it go, bro. Like you're way too competitive.
Oh man, that's why. Okay, man, we got to get into. I can't believe that Usyk handled Joshua. I don't know if you saw the highlights. He put on like a master class.
He
bro.
did, man.
Oh my lord, bro! Like who? Like you rarely see a cruiserweight step up like that. To have like Evander Holyfield did it, but like, oh my lord, man! Like he just looked like he was born. Like he was like, all right, no difference at all. Like I'll just come up and school everyone like I was doing at cruiserweight. Like
man, I was in shock, bro.
Yeah,
I didn't expect that to happen.
That really shook up the division.
It did. Because it's like for Fury, after this Wilder fight, let's assume that he wins that fight. Like, who does he fight next?
That would be such a chess match.
He can't go to Joshua.
No, it's got to be, that's what I'm saying, though. Usyk is like a Fury. He's just smaller. To see those two just have like that same type of boxing chess match, it would be absolutely crazy. I assume Usyk's going to shoot up to either 1 or 2 behind Canelo as far as pound for pound. I mean, he just dominated the cruiserweight division, went up and took 4 belts from the heavyweight champ of the world. So he's clearly going to shoot up. I want to ask you, do you think like he was dominant in the cruiserweight division? No one talks about the division. I'm sure you probably don't really know much about Alexander Usyk, but he did dominate that division. He unified it, which was, that's really hard. And then he went up and just did what he did in 19 fights, bro. Like I almost am like he could retire right now and he's going to go into the Hall of Fame. Like that's absolutely crazy that he just did that. That's
off of 19 fights, you think he
more so from what he did at cruiserweight, but I like that is absolutely insane that like his 3rd heavyweight fight, he came up and just, took care of Joshua like that. Or let's say this, what if his next fight is to unify against the Wilder Fury winner, and then he wins that fight and just retires? Like that might be one of the greatest careers ever, and it's only a 20
that
fight
would be a dog ass move, bro.
Like that would be nuts.
That would be a boss ass fucking move,
right?
Bro. Like just going beat whoever, be like, shit, I ain't got nothing else to prove. I'm good.
Man, I would do it. Like if as long as he gets enough money, like what the fuck else? Yeah, you're gonna unify. Like, oh man, bro, that shook up everything.
It did. It really did. I mean, no one expected it, bro.
No. And I knew he was a great fighter, but I was just like, it's a different weight class. And like, it's not even like he's fighting a dude that's teetering in the heavyweight division. Josh was like 260. That's like super heavyweight. Solid. Yeah. Like
solid.
And he just like boxed the shit out of him, bro. Like,
and that's the thing. Like, I don't know if Joshua knows how to, do you think Joshua really knows how to like use that weight advantage, right? Like Tyson Fury understands how to use. I mean, we saw it against Wilder. He just leaned on them and hugged them and just put that weight on them, right?
Yeah.
Does Joshua know how to do that?
Yeah, I don't think so. I think Joshua's kind of like a one-way fighter. That's a good point because we know how masterful of a boxer Fury is, but he clearly knows how to switch up his strategy to go, to give him the advantage depending on who he's fighting, whatever the stylistic matchup is. I don't know.
It just looked like Joshua thought that, well, like I have the power, so all I gotta do is just catch him and he'll go down. And that didn't happen. It looked like he was really relying on just that power.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, he got took to school.
Yeah, man. I don't know if you saw it too. I'll send you the video if you haven't after this, but it looked like too Usyk was fucking him up in the last 10 seconds, and it looked like they rung the bell early. Like Joshua was like going, and like they rung the bell with like at least. So his promoter said it was just wrong on the TV broadcast, like that wasn't accurate to what the
like
timer
a delay
was.
Or something.
Yeah. But like it went off at like 7 seconds, and he had him going. Like Joshua was like jelly legs, like against the rope. So like that was just crazy, man. Was just not expecting it, and it was weird. I texted you when it happened because it was happening in the UK, so I knew it was on Saturday. But you're thinking in your head, okay, it's a night fight, but no, it happened like in the morning, like 10, 11 a.m.
Yeah, because it's like a 5-hour difference.
Yeah, so it was just like I saw it, and I was like, what the fuck, man? Like that is just. Now what? Exactly. Like it's like now
he like you said, he completely shook up just that whole entire division and just boxing itself. Like he put a wrinkle in shit that nobody was expecting.
Right. Yeah. So now, I mean, we got the other heavyweights fighting next week. No, 2 weekends from now. So yeah, like it'll be, I guess we'll see the winners of that. Boxing should put that fight together, honestly, but who knows? There'll probably be mandatory challengers, or I'm sure Usyk has to fight Joshua again or some bullshit like that. But I just want to see a unification fight.
And what the fuck is up with Joshua losing to these like
dudes that like no one would think, right? I totally agree.
Ruiz, now like what is going like, bro? Like either it's a lack of fucking focus, or like you said, like he just doesn't have a game plan going. But like, come on, man.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know. He's a great fighter, but there's probably a rematch clause in the contract. But it's like, again, like especially like you just said, after he lost to a Ruiz and now this, like I'm ready to see Usyk now fight the winner of the other fight, and then if Joshua wants to get back in the mix, that's fine. But it's like you've had 2 bad losses that you weren't supposed to lose. Like you really don't deserve that right now, if you ask me. So.
You're right. Like he got to earn that, bro.
Yeah, I don't know.
And then this shit with fucking Canelo and
I was gonna bring that up with you, man. Yeah.
Like these dudes, like so. They're not pushing it back, are they?
No, I think it's early November, so that cut should have time to heal. But like Dana White said it, but like, could you be any stupider as far as like the promote? I think it's Showtime. Like the people promoting that, like you're gonna let them. You're not gonna have a mediator stand there, and like you're gonna let them fucking potentially hurt each other like that. Like literally, what? Like could you be any dumber? Yeah, it's a unification. I think it's for the undisputed. I think Plant's got the only other belt for middleweight or whatever they're in. Yeah. So I don't know, man. I think Canelo, just, from history, Canelo should win pretty easily, but Plant's undefeated, so it's the same thing as like the Usyk thing. It's like,
I would say this, even in that little exchange, Plant kind of that first little left, he caught Canelo. Canelo ain't get all the way out of it. He kind of caught him a little bit.
Yeah, it'll be a good fight, man. Some good fights coming up.
Granted, now it wasn't a smart ploy from like that standpoint because it could ruin the fight, but like. Now people are going to be intrigued to kind of tune in, right? So it's like it's a positive thing. It's like people are like, oh shit, like this fight gonna get serious. So like
that's a good point because I've been following boxing for a long time and like watching fights from like decades before it shot. And I don't know if I've ever seen the build up someone actually like I've seen people throw hands or like try to and they separate. I don't know if I've ever seen someone connect like that and actually like cut someone during
I think I definitely feel like it can have effect on their pay-per-view stuff where they're
right. Yeah.
It's gonna go up higher than what the projections were.
Right. I've never seen anything like that. Aside from when Mike Tyson bit Lennox Lewis's leg in the stare down, I've never seen anything like that. That dude was so fucking crazy, man.
Mike is a fucking showman, bro. Like people think that Mike is a fucking showman, dog. Like he know how to sell a fucking fight.